and it says live. So now what? I've been doing some hella coding sporadically throughout today, and uh, I'm inspired to build a beach delivery app. And so I have like the stuff here, these different domains, an account domain, deliverer domain. I don't know if that's how you spell deliverer. How do you spell deliverer? I guess I don't need you anymore. How do you spell deliverer? Come here. Yeah, that's how you spell deliverer. Okay. So I have an account domain, deliverer domain, a request domain, and a shopping cart domain. And so now what? Well, how does this work? I'm going to drop various items from different code bases into that. So I'm basically just reusing a lot of what I already have. And so I have a for my Get Ride app that I wrote probably maybe 4 months ago. I have these folders right here. Okay. And there's also, well, let me just keep it simple for right now. Paste that in. Okay. And so now if I go to my beach delivery for account, I can add existing project and why can't I just, okay, whatever. Account.specification. What's the difference between account.specification and payment.specification? Over here, this account.specification is located where? Okay. Okay. If I build this Get Ride, hopefully it doesn't have any errors. And if it doesn't, then hopefully I can delete the payment.specification project. So if I go back over here, I just don't understand. Everything passes. Account.specification has a payment specification project. I just don't understand why that would be necessary. And just to make sure, Alt Enter says account specification. Okay. So I should be able to safely delete this payment specification. And I should be able to build this Get Ride app again without any issues. And maybe something did change because it's taking a little bit longer to build. No, all right, we're good. So now what? So let me close that, go over here and close that, go over here and kill that. Okay. And for the beach delivery, I want to add this account.specification project. and it says, okay. All right. Now what? Well, this stuff is a specification folder. All right. And so that can go in there. Now what else? There's a count.specification, and then there should be a count.test that I should add too. So add in here existing project, count.test. Okay. And so that's it for the specification, but there's also some other items. So I need to add, there's a count.domain. Okay. There's a count.view models. Okay. And there's a account.ui. Okay. All right. Now, if I attempt to build this, I get all these errors. And so it's saying that unable to find projects, get ride.core. Okay. So there needs to be a, how do I want to do this? Go back to here. And for this get ride, there's a foundation, and then there's a core over here. This is complaining about, let me see, unable to find, that's fine. Like, okay, so if we go to account.specification and we look at the projects, okay, there's UI logic, and then there's core that it wants to reference. Core, okay, that looks good. Common, okay. So can open up this core folder and go back to my beach delivery and add this core folder over here. And so this is now going to, probably needs to be a folder called foundation. Foundation, okay. Foundation, I think should be at the top. And now what? Oh, okay, if we're gonna add numbers here, then 01 is account. And I don't even know what that was. We can make how do we want to do this? We can make a request, the next one. We can make actually make a shopping cart, the next one. And the deliver is the last one for right now. And there's going to be other domains in here as well. There's going to be a marketing domain when they first launched the app. Okay. And so that's kind of what it looks like right now. Now, back to this foundation, add existing project. You know, we have this getride.core. Okay. Now, if I attempt to build, what is it going to complain against now? Well, account specification, it's, oh, okay. It recognizes core now. It doesn't know what UI logic is. And my UI logic is this over here. So I can, if I go to beach delivery, paste that in, and there's UI logic. Okay, so now I add this, add to existing, and I have this UI logic over here. And I add this to my foundation. Okay, Control Shift B. And let's see what else it complains about for my specification specifically. So that seems to be okay. If I attempt to just build my account specification, there was a failure in which it says that it doesn't know. Okay, so let's unwire core and UI logic, unwire that, and then just re-add it. So core, UI logic, add that back. And let's see if we can build this again. And count.specific says that, check that the reference, okay. So maybe instead of trying to build this account.specification, I need to make sure that the dependencies that it relies on are able to build. So core, if I try to build this, that succeeds. UI logic, so if I try to build that, that succeeds. Go back to specification. If I try to build that, that still fails. So why does this still fail? Unable to find projects. Why is it unable to find that? Check that the project reference is valid and that the project file exists. Okay, so let's remove you again. Let's remove you again. Okay, and let's try this again, where let's first add core, and it doesn't like that. Not sure why. And then we can add the add reference, UI logic. Okay. And if this still errors out, then I'll just attempt to build. Okay, so let me kill this. Let me relaunch it. And let me see if that does anything. So if I attempt to now build this, is it still going to complain about the same thing? Mm, it's doing something related to, okay, the build succeeded. All right. Well, if the build succeeded, then let me go to my build. All right. So that's nothing but raw experience. Uh-oh. Does everything pass on here? Build. Since I have unit tests discovered on here. Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah. That's a no-brainer. All right. So far, everything in my foundation builds. My account.specification builds. My account.tests more than likely has issues. So if I look at that, it's going to be looking for several things on here. Some notion of app logic, and it's looking for ride.view models and oh god, ride.specification. Okay, so this request over here is going to have our ride logic, and I'll just update the naming conventions for ride later. But forget ride, there's going to be these items right here. Okay, I forget what's the difference between what is a portal versus an account. I don't know, but if I go back to my beach delivery, paste the ride stuff in, and that request is going to reference the ride stuff, in which ride is going to need to be modified to be a request because you're not getting a ride, you're making a request for a delivery. Um, which maybe that request should be deliver. Maybe that's better. Well, no, it's a request. It's a delivery request. Delivery request. Okay. And so over here, I add these projects in which there is a ride specification. And so I want to add a specification folder under here. Specification. Okay. And here's the ride specification. And what else? Under that specification, there's going to be a ride.test. Okay. Add that under there. Okay. Now what? Well, for the ride.specification, its dependencies are account, get ride. It looks like it might be okay. So if I attempt to build ride.specification, that builds. Okay. Now, if I attempt to build ride.test, there's issues. I look at the dependencies for ride.test, and there's ride.view models. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So now for delivery requests, add more projects, and I'm going to add a ride.ui, which I don't think I really need to add this. I'm going to add a ride.domain. Okay. And is there anything else in here for a delivery request? Ride.view models. Okay. All right. So now what? If we go back and we try to build the domain, then there's a failure. It says unable to find ride.specification. Okay. So I click ride.specification in here. I attempt to build it again. And it says, nope, unable to find. Check that the reference is valid. So it's giving me the same error again for ride.domain. Ride.view models is probably going to be the same thing. Well, first, let me under it knows who ride.core is. If I delete this and then attempt to re-add it, and then add, you're going to play nice. Now, if I try to build, that sounds a little bit better. And I get different errors. All branches of an if must have the same type. And now I have no clue what that's referring to. I have no clue what that is referring to. There's a pickup.current, and then there's a, yeah, I don't know what that's about. And that's in the, yeah, I'm not sure what that's referring to. What is that referring to? If I go back to the ride.domain, see, this address is address.address, which if I look at the compiled for ride.domain, and there's a core. Something's not right here. Core, it's the core file. This one doesn't have any issues. Hold up, something's not right. Why is this ride.domain over here is ride.domain core. This looks so much different from this over here. It's a huge difference. Why is 02 ride.domain fs prosh, and then my beach delivery. I'm not sure why the files look so different. 3:14, 8:39 p.m. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that doesn't matter. All right. So let's just assume that it's just a one-off, which I know it's not. Like this is just a different file. Since to build that, and that builds. Okay, and I have some tests that are going green now. Okay. Now what? Um, so the domain builds. The view model is going, I'm sure, give me an issue. So view model depends on ride.domain and ride.specification. Let's remove this ride.domain, ride.specification, and attempt to re-add it. Ride.specification, ride.domain. Add that back. And now if I attempt to build my view model, that builds, okay? If I attempt to build my entire solution, that does not. Okay. So now what? Well, there's a test, but if I attempt to build ride.test, that's not going to work. Ride.test is complaining that there's a reference for .NET Framework were not found. To resolve this, install the SDK for targeting pack for this framework. Are we talking to a version of your note that all result? Okay. Okay. So if I do alt enter on ride.test, I don't know. It says retargeted. If I attempt to rebuild ride.test, now I get hella errors. And it's complaining about test API not defined. All right, so now we're making progress. And I need to go look for the notion of a test API, which is over here. Okay. And so I add that. And for my foundation, I referenced that test API project. Okay. This test API project is tripping now. Oh, God. Okay. So it's depending on some ride.view models, ride.domain, ride.specification, but the ride under delivery requests, that's having issues, right? Well, is it? Hold up. Ride.view model. Can I build you? Okay. I know I can build ride.domain. So in the test API, let's remove view model, ride.view models, ride.domain, and ride.specification. And let's re-add. Let's re-add ride.view model, ride.view models, ride.domain. Hold up. Where is that at? Let me use the search. Ride.domain and ride.specification. Okay. Now, if I attempt to build my test API, is going to have issues still. And specifically, the issues are dealing with when we're compiling, we are saying that, oh God, saying that it doesn't like whatever this stuff is. Okay. I don't know what this is talking about. So I'm going to close this, reopen it, and hope that some things get resolved. Okay. Now what? All right. So let me go back to my test API, which is over here. And let me attempt to build it. And it's still complaining about the same thing. So if I go to my test API dependencies, like I don't see anything that it's complaining about that's missing. But it's saying that it doesn't know what request ride dependencies is. Um okay. That is going to be defined somewhere. So if I do a search for request ride dependencies over here, we see that it's defined in my operations of my ride.specification. Now, in my ride.specification for this delivery request operations, this is not lining up at all. Ride.specification. What is this thing looking at? There's so much more here. Hold up. After ride, during ride, request price dependencies. Over here, after ride, during ride, and it's just not there. So there's hella things missing from here. Okay. Not sure why all this is different, but it is. Okay. Rebuild this ride specification. And revisit this test API. Okay. And so now it's complaining about type handlers not defined. Okay. So that's for the ride view models. So when I go to the ride view models over here, what file is this? This is get ride file. None of this stuff is matching up. 01 ride.view models, ride.view models. All this is just different. Why is it's like what did it copy over? Hold up. All this is different. Hold up. Mm, take these files in ride.viewModels, go to beach delivery, and for ride.viewModels over here, get ride and hold up. This stuff is in here. Get ride and route ride ended. No, this is different. Okay. So over here, it's await ride, request ride, blah, blah. And in the beach delivery, it's none of this. So I'm going to delete that, paste this in, and I need to remove these items. Yeah, remove them and include these items. Include. Okay. Attempt to build this ride view models again. All right. It looks like, let me see. And so it says, this en route message has no clue what it is. If I go over here, this is defined in my language for ride. All this stuff is effed up, man. So ride specification language has a lot more. Okay. And it looks like it's doing something. So now if I build the ride.view models, that now builds, which means that my domain builds as well because view model depends on domain. Okay. But we wanted to go to the ride.test, and there's issues there. Specifically, there's issues with, oh God. It says view models not defined, ride.view models. Why would you not know what ride.view models is? This get ride test, if I go to my get ride over here and I go to my test, get ride, this is completely different again. Like everything is different on here. Hold up. Get ride, get ride. This is all different. I don't think that went over well. If I go back to get ride over here, this ride specification isn't recognized. And it doesn't know what this is over here. Ride specification operations. Ride specification operations. That looks the same. Okay. Build. Okay, ride.test, build. I don't want to be spending all my time resolving these errors. And this stuff should just work. Specification is not defined over here. Yeah, this stuff should just work. So, oh, well, okay. All this stuff needs to be re-referenced. So, all these items right here, if I do control print, print, I thought I had a paint up. Hold up. I want to get rid of this, 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 and this. Delete. Okay. And then essentially go back and say I need ride.viewModels, ride.domain. So ride.viewModels, ride.domain. What else? There's a ride.specification that I need. Okay. And then there's a account on here that account specification core. So account.specification. And then there's a core somewhere on here that's needed. Core. And then a test API and UI logic. So test API and then UI logic. All those items need to be re-added. And now if I try to build my ride.test, I felt like it got a little bit farther, but now there's it still says get ride is not defined, but that's in my cancel ride. Okay, so now I look at my cancel ride test and I go back over here and I just do that. Okay, and then I attempt to build again. And maybe I should also just, for the sake of it, well, there's no ride ended on here. This ride ended doesn't exist on my get ride. Delete that. Okay. If I look at the output for that, now it's saying that, I don't know what that says. Hold up. Build again. Okay. So ride.test is building. That works. Now my test API, does that build? That builds. Okay. If I do a big bang build, is that gonna? No. Okay. So now let's talk about some app logic. Okay. And so over here I have app foundation, app logic. and copy that and throw it into my beach delivery. And that shows up there. Okay. So then beach delivery under foundation, I can add this existing project and say that there's a where did it go? App logic over here. Okay. And this app logic, let me do that. And something like this. Okay. And so it doesn't like this, that, and that. It doesn't like, no. UI logic can stay. It doesn't like UI common. Okay. So I can delete that. The UI common. Where is UI common at? Over here. Add a UI common in here. And I don't even know where UI common is housed at. It's also in the foundation. Okay. So add a existing project and call it UI common. Add that in here. Okay. UI commons in here. Will that build by itself? No, it won't, because UI common relies on a ride.view model. Yeah, so I'll look at UI common later. For app logic, I need ride.view models, ride.ui, ride.specification. So go over here and do go over here and say ride.specification, ride.view models. Ride.ui. You see ride anywhere else, ride UI, ride specification, ride view models. And then there's account UI, account view, account UI, and UI common. So account UI, and then there's a UI common that's in here now. Okay. Now I feel like that just made no difference at all. Since to build this again, I feel like that didn't do anything. Let me resolve this UI common. It's complaining about a ride.view models account UI. Oh God. Hey, get rid of all this. And then go back and say that this is going to rely on. Okay, what am I looking at now? Ride.view models. So ride.view models, ride.specification. and then they had a account UI. Oh yeah, ride UI, account UI. If I read that right, enter. And for accounts, account UI is over here. See if I could build that. Will you build by yourself? Yeah. So if I attempt to build everything, it's going to fail. Now I'm going to close everything out and then just reopen the speech delivery. Visual Studio, I know you do a lot, but man, you can make this a lot easier by just recognizing the references and just re-updating the reference or refreshing the reference. Okay, so I don't even know where to start anymore. There's a app logic. Are you going to build? No, you're not going to build. Okay, so why won't you build? And it says because unable to find a ride.domain. Okay. What? Really? Hold up. Did I read this right? When the build started for test API, and then there was an error saying that. Okay, hold up. I thought test API already built. Hold up. It did build. App Logic did not build. App Logic does build now. What the fuck? I'm going crazy. Regardless of it having yellow warnings. 00 account UI. I'm going to add that one more time. That's not going to make a difference. Okay, so App Logic builds. Core builds. Test API builds. UI Common builds. UI Logic builds. Okay. Control Shift B. And it will tell me that Test API DLL for account tests. The namespace, or let me just click on here. Account test has issues. And so let me delete you. Don't save. Delete you. Don't save. And over here, go back and Delete all that. Okay. Now what? Um, refer back to this, and it wants account.viewModels, ride.viewModels, account.viewModels, ride.viewModels. What else? It says AppLogic and Core. Uh, AppLogic and Core. What else? Account specification, ride specification. That's ride specification, account specification. What else? Test API, UI logic. Test API, UI logic. Okay. That looked like it did something. Build. Okay. Control Shift B. All right. So now the solution build so far. Control Shift B just to check. Okay. Now what? Um, if I go back to the get ride and account, which I pretty much have over here, but I have it delivery request and account. Okay. The shopping cart is not here. Okay. Let's give this get ride a break. Hold up. Let me go back. Run everything. There's 26 tests now. Okay. And that matches the 26 tests on the get ride. Okay. Close out get ride. Okay. And so now let's, what else do we have? We have the shopping cart. Shopping cart is over here. And so this is going to be a little bit different. For the shopping cart, there's core abstractions for foundation, test API. There's test APIs for different things on here. This is going to be interesting. I like it. It's practice. All right. So there may be test APIs for different domains. Okay. So what I mean by that is, yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting, homie. All right. So let me see. This mock has operations in it. They're all operations on here. Okay. This is going to be interesting. This test API is dealing with. This is going to be interesting. Bank cards repository, mock application, mock notification services. Okay. This is going to be interesting. All right. So how do I want to do this? Okay. I guess I could close you out. You're no longer relevant. And so there's a test API over here. What is language? Oh, that's the language. And then your operations is the actual operate. Okay, I got it. Okay, so if I go over here, there's going to be. This is going to be interesting. This is what I'm going to try to do. All this appears to be language. Except for this stuff down here. No, no, that's all language. This is all language. Okay. Except for this over here. No, no. Hold up. Man, this is going to be different. Okay, so this, no. Yeah, we're going to have two different things in here. This test API is for how do I want to do this? This is request delivery dot test API. I knew that was going to break some things. Okay. So that request delivery dot test API is probably going to need that. Are you going to get cleaned back up? And looks like it's not. This delivery request over here, same thing. Do that. Try to build that. Okay. If I close this out and then I just reopen it. Let me see what happens. What really is failing? If I attempt to build this whole solution again, and go to build. Okay. Let me make this update over here. Oh, shoot. Come here. All right. And what really is the problem? It's saying that unable to find a project or i.view models. What is saying this ride.ui? Okay. So this ride.ui, what does that have to do with anything? All right, ride.view models, ride.specification. Ride.specification, ride.view models. Okay. Are you going to build ride.ui? That builds. Okay. Control Shift B. What's the problem? Okay. So now it says that it's just over here. It says that the union cases or fields for validate card are not accessible for this card location. I don't know what that means. I don't have any warnings on here. Request dot delivery test API. Account dot test can't build. Ride dot test can't build with it. And if we look at hmm all right, let's try to work this out. So foundation, app logic do you build? No, app logic does not build. Okay. Why doesn't app logic build? Do you have I mean, you have to have a dependency on this test API. No. Okay, so there's account UI and UI common. Okay. If I look at account UI, do you build? Account UI builds. UI common, do you build? UI common builds. Okay. So account UI and UI common. Let's re-add you. UI common, account UI. Okay, and it still has the yellow warning on it. I'm not sure if I can do anything about that. And I still get the same error. Okay, which makes me want to close out Visual Studio and do it again. Test API, bank cards repository, the validator card. It's not accessible from this location. Oh, I think I know why. Okay. So this request delivery test API, that's the new name of it. Okay. And so it's not accessible because there should be a let me see. This right here. Build. Oh, I'm sure that did. Yeah, I think that helped out somewhere. Now what? It says this transaction ID is not accessible. Where's what? Hold up. All right, bye. Yeah. Okay, so over here, it's the same thing. Okay, Control Shift B. I think this should build. Maybe not. All right. What else? Says this cancellation ID is not accessible. Okay. It's the same thing over here. Control Shift B. Okay. Now what? Control Shift B. Unable to find ride domain. Okay, I don't know what that stuff is. So for account UI, this builds. Okay. So what's the problem? If I look at the output on here, it says that build started for AppLogic, and it said that error unable to find the project ride domain. So for AppLogic, it's looking for ride domain. I don't know what that was. Hold up. It's looking for ride domain. This right here. That didn't really do anything. AppLogic says error, unable to find project 02 ride.domain. Check that. Okay. Is ride domain still here? Delivery request, ride domain. Are you going to build still? Yeah, you build. So go back to the foundation, AppLogic. Okay. If I close this out, okay, and I go back to the speech delivery solution. Okay, and so from there, if I attempt to build the solution, I see a failure already. Okay. Unable to find projects, ride.domain. Everything is ride.domain and everything. Okay. So in AppLogic, if I try to build you in isolation, are you going to build in isolation? Oh, yes, you will. Okay. The other one was for account UI. Are you going to build in isolation? Yes, you will. For account view models, you're going to build in isolation? Yes, you will. For request delivery test API, are you going to build in isolation? Yes, you will. Okay, so like, now everything builds. Do it one more time. Now everything builds. Okay. Now I want to add this shopping cart. And so there's a there's a couple things on here. Uh I don't even know where to start. So for this specification, shopping cart specification, there's going to be that shopping cart view models, shopping cart. There's a lot of stuff here. Start with that right now. And for beach delivery, paste that in over here. Okay. So now we can have for a shopping cart, add existing project, and it's going to be our beach delivery shopping cart specification. Okay. And so maybe we should call this a specification, and you throw that in here. Okay. And the specification should just build, but it probably won't because it relies on more something called hold up, core.abstractions. Yep. So here, um, broadcast away test broadcast to attitude. Yeah, this is getting big. Shopping cart has this core.abstractions, which is over here. Okay. And what if I just took that and hmm, like this is all, I think this should all just be, you're gonna have different, man. Okay. This yeah, I think if I go back over here, that core.abstractions is added. Did I not add it? Copy that and add it in here. Okay. And so for this speech delivery, there's going to be a add existing project, core.abstractions. Okay. And right now that's just shopping cart specification. think this core abstractions should probably go under here. Add our shopping cart.test. Okay. Then we add our shopping cart.domain. And view models. I don't see domain in here though. There's a shopping cart.view models. Where's domain at? Is that what data gateway is? Nope, that's not it. View models. What's this shopping cart over here? That's it. Shopping cart. I am going to call that shopping cart.domain. Okay. And so then in beach delivery, I just add a existing project and shopping cart.domain. Okay. And shopping cart specification, do you build? Shopping cart.test, do you build? No, you don't. Okay, now what? Shopping cart.test doesn't know what a domain is, doesn't know what core abstractions is, doesn't know any of this. There's a test API too. Okay, so let's take a snapshot of this. Hold up. Go to over here. No, that's not what I want. And over here, and just delete all this. Add a reference to shopping cart. And it's boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now over here, there's a test API for our, nope. For a shopping cart, there's a test API. And that is going to be different from the test API that we have already in here. So this test API for beach delivery is our request delivery dot test API. And speech delivery, if I unload everything in this shopping cart, okay, and I just try to build, I'm probably going to get an error because probably can't find it. So if I go over here and I open up the solution, you look for this test API. And maybe I need to do a find test API. And I just need to have this request delivery. Like that. No, not like that. Like that. And I think that's supposed to be how it looks. Close. Open. Okay, and now if I attempt to build it, there's errors, and it says that, I don't know what it says. Build app logic, build core, build core abstractions, build request delivery test API. Okay, now build the entire solution. Okay, so now I built. Okay, now going back to our shopping cart, the test API here, I want to call paste that in, and I'm going to call it a shopping cart test API. Okay. And so now in our beach delivery foundation, add a shopping cart test API. And maybe I should name it here, shopping carts dot test API. Will that work? Okay. Now it's complaining about some dependencies. No, that's fine. Shopping cart dot domain. I can add shopping cart. Where are you at? It's unloaded right now. That's why. Reload stuff in here. And then go back and say add reference to shopping cart dot domain. Okay. And if I attempt to build, will you build? You build. Okay. Now, why is all this stuff red? Build the entire solution. No. It says test API is not defined. Okay. You need a reference to the shopping cart test API. Okay. Now what? Browse is you need a you have a references specification for shopping cart. Can I build shopping cart specification? Yes. Can I build shopping cart.test? No. Over here, it says that I need to add a reference to core. Okay. Core abstractions. Okay. Everything builds. Now I have 34 tests. Are you going to go green? Oh, yeah, baby. You go green. Okay. Run everything. Is everything going to go green? And nope. So why is all this failing now? Over here, it is complaining because I need to and then add it back. And then try to run it. Okay, now what? Over here, this ride. The request delivery uncheck and then recheck it. Request delivery, do that, and then run everything. Are you gonna go green? Okay, everything goes green. All right, so I got shopping cart domain in here. I got the delivery request domain in here. I have my account domain in here. I have the foundation in here. Only items left is the deliverer domain, in which they have like, I don't know, reviews and rating or whatever. And then the marketing domain, which is the marketing campaign. Campaign. I don't know how to spell campaign. Something like that. Yeah. I don't know if you call this deliverer profile. I don't know. I don't like that's kind of long. Deliverer. But that's pretty much how things are getting fleshed out. A distributed monolith. 34 tests on here. There's some technical debt in here. This core is specific to request delivery. God. So now if I change this to request delivery core, I'm going to break things, but I mean, it is what it is. So now I just broke some stuff. I assume I broke some stuff. I don't think it's smart enough to update all the references or refresh all the references. Yeah, so over here, add that request delivery.core. And for ride.test, add the reference back, request delivery.core. Is there anything else? It says UI common, app logic. I don't know. Let me see. And everything builds again. Okay. This core.abstractions is specific to the shopping cart. I could call this shopping cart.core. Because I mean that's pretty much what it is. Do I want to do that? I'm not sure. Yeah, why not? Shopping carts.core. And so that's going to break some things. Okay, and so for the shopping cart test, we add a reference to shoppingcart.core. Okay. And I guess we just go back to shopping cart test API. Oh, that probably is going to need shopping cart.core too. No, it says up to date. Okay. Control Shift B. Everything's up to date. Okay. Control Shift B again. Everything's up to date. All right. So what's left? Deliverer domain, the marketing campaign domain. Okay, I'll change it back to marketing. Marketing domain. And I'll probably work on that tomorrow. And then it's just evolving each of the domains. Account has like payment info, amongst other things. And that's it. So I'm out. Peace.